Welcome back, everybody, to D&D Ragebait.
Got him.
Prepare to be rage baited. We have no rolls today.
He's still breathing out. He's still breathing out.
David's still breathing out.
He's passing out.
David, don't faint. David.
Or he's mocking.
David fainted.
Oh no, he's dead.
I am Cameron, and I'm going to give a hot take today, and I'm also joined by David.
I'm David, and I'm going to give a hot take today, and I'm joined by Paris, who's going to give a hot take today.
I'm Paris, and I'm going to give a hot take today, and I'm joined by Austin, who's going to give a hot take today.
It might be hot, it might be not. It's not my best, but we'll see.
Breath retention. Sip. Zip. Let it out. D&D Ragebait is we just give hot takes about Dungeons and Dragons. How do we usually figure out who goes when? Do we do something for this?
The best game ever.
Should we do that? All right.
Yeah.
David, what number am I holding up?
2.
It was 2. David, you're up.
So awesome.
There's all the breath work.
Such a good game.
Yeah, he fainted.
The headline.
Okay, here, give us the headline.
Less combat, more puzzles.
Oh, nice.
And now I'll go into my thesis on it,
Sure.
the long form version. I think that like forced combat situations, like most of the time, obviously there will be exceptions, but I think most of the time there should be something to interact in the world that helps like circumvent or make it significantly easier, but it requires like, I think like rewards role playing and like perception and more exploration based. The exceptions would be like Karoti, for example, where that was not at all forced combat. We could have just left.
Oh, that was very much chosen combat.
Yeah. Or like when we ran into, now I'm forgetting that group in the woods.
The Bleeding Hearts?
Tanner's old.
Yeah.
The Bleeding Hearts, like it'll be kind of environmentally based. Like there isn't necessarily something just sitting around in the woods. And like if the story requires, combat is like part of the game. But I think, if you're in a situation, there should be something off to the side, some like other path you can take, but obviously you're still susceptible to the combat. So you kind of have to decide like, am I going to be susceptible to damage while choosing not to deal damage back? But I think the reward would be pretty much ending or avoiding the fight without having to engage in combat and probably save some time in my mind. That's my take.
I think, so you're saying from the headline, it sounded like you were completely wanting to replace a lot of combat with puzzles, but
That's
you're
the-
kind
That's
of
the
putting it
clickbait.
together.
That's the rage bait clickbait.
That's the clickbait.
You're kind of saying that there should be more that's together.
Yeah, like if you're in a crypt of sorts, there could be traps set up by crypt keepers from the past, and if you're able to kind of solve the puzzle, it releases, I don't know, poison darts or something that are conveniently right where the enemy is standing, where you took the time to solve the puzzle, and so your reward is them dying a hilarious death and you not having to fight them.
Or not knowing if the puzzle is, if you solve it, if it'll benefit or hurt you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of fun.
It's so scary to be in that situation because initiative is so important.
Yeah.
And action economy is so important. I, as a player, typically go into, I'm not saying this is right, but I'm kind of like, oh, now we're in the combat section. And I don't want to mess it up by using my turn saying, is there a secret book? Can I examine this bookshelf while someone's swinging a sword at me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to feel like I'm wasting my turn and hurting my party. So it's almost more like at that point, the DM needs to say something along the lines of, everyone give me an insight check, see if there's anything about this room. Like this is something that hints at that it's not just a normal combat.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, because you made a good point, like when the DM's laying out the room, they almost they point something out that's like, why would they point that out?
Or there's like, a trap that's already that you've already gone through. If you're in something like that with the poison darts, you've already kind of left breadcrumbs, allowing the players to be creative.
Precisely. Obviously stems from my hatred of combat.
I think what it comes down to also is just like there are some people who like play, like some groups who play D&D as like a this is like a video game.
Yeah.
In a lot of video games, you come up against a monster, and like your option is to fight, and like you try to optimize and you try to like beat the monster, at all costs. Essentially, like you have one goal, which is to like win. But I feel like when like D&D combat is cool is when you don't just become like a little piece on a board that is fighting. Like you're still supposed to like be your character and like do what your character would do in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So like if your group is more devoted to like telling a collective story versus playing a video game, then that makes sense. And with your puzzle thing, David, I feel like it comes down to like, I think D&D combat is always better like when you have a goal. When there is a goal of combat and like something is like the thing that you're fighting is standing in your way of that, then like there are a million ways that you could handle the situation other than just like hitting something until it's dead. Harris DM'd a campaign when we went to Fox Lake, and the final battle was essentially a puzzle.
Yeah.
And we could have just like attacked the woman a bunch, but like we had to solve the puzzle.
I loved when you did the Orcish Coast with all the, I don't even remember who they were. There were all the soldiers or like people who were like stuck and like just staring at us.
Oh, the orcs, yeah.
They were orcs,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And it was like we really could have like, I mean, we would have died, of course, but like it was kind of like an open-ended like puzzle that kind of felt like, oh, we could like have some combat here or not, which is kind of fun when you have to like choose. I think often when we have combat, typically like with this crew, we just like bring it on ourselves a lot of the time. But like that kind of situation, or like starting the combat by like being in the net was cool because it's just like another extra thing you have to overcome.
Yeah. And like David said, I think there are always going to be boss battles where you just have to beat the boss.
Totally.
But then in that situation, like that's when you put the thing that you can climb on, or like the pool that you can jump in, or like the little things that you can interact with, like David said.
Yeah. What made me kind of think of it is when Corey and I were having our fight against the vampire spawn, like just the way my character's built, there was very little I could do. Because like my only effective attacks were also Constitution saves, which he was very good at. So I was just thinking, like, if only there was some other way I could contribute on the side.
Well, the thing with vampires is that if you had, like, you were low key, like, in its domain, like, vampires have built in, like, mechanisms that, like, even if you're level 1, you could beat a vampire. So that is kind of, but I understand what you're saying with, like, your character should always feel like they're able to, like, impact somehow.
Less combat, more puzzles.
I agree.
Sound off in the comments.
Yeah, I think unfortunately the answer for a lot of these takes is, yeah, the DM should do that.
I was gonna say, I was actually gonna pose that question of, do we think the responsibility then? I feel like there should be a balance of like, yes, like things that the DM can write in that like in the environment that are really fun, but also like you were saying, like if we are playing as our characters, are we a character that kind of stands back and wants to observe? And in that case, if your like character is not built like a tank, but is someone who is very rash to jump into things, like I can't remember who is it Roby or Benny? One of your characters
Both.
I feel like always jumps in,
Every
but is
single
like
one of my
not a
characters
tank,
ever.
and so like being true to that, and so like I do feel like some of the responsibility is on the player to say like, okay, I can't, piercing damage doesn't work. Can I look around and see if there's anything I see in the room that can help me in this situation?
I think in combat is 80% DM, 20% player.
Yeah, you do have to, like, you could find out ways to, sometimes it's as easy as negotiating if you're not talking to like a chaotic evil person. So you can make your own sort of puzzle.
True. You can always do a persuasion.
Yeah. So I definitely agree. I do think that it tends to happen naturally where DMs, as they get better in a campaign that I'm DMing, I just get bored. Like, I don't want it to be stand and swing. And so it just kind of happens naturally where, and you want to be the player that comes up with a cool out of the box thing. But some people also, want to be a fighter and just
be a fighter.
Take 3 swings and that's their turn.
What Woolsey just said leads me very nicely into my take. Can I say my take? David, I'll let you decide
What
whether or not I can.
What number am I holding
Yeah,
up?
what number am I holding?
Here's holding up.
You have to get both of our numbers.
That's insane. 3-1.
Or are you holding it?
Yeah. Clip that.
Clip that. I think so. My take is that I think the right way to put it into words is that it's okay as a DM to cheat a little bit. And by that, I mean, if your monster has 84 hit points, it's okay to kill it when it has like 12 left. So on many monster stat blocks, it says like this monster has 84 hit points, or it has like 6, like 8d12 plus 20 or something like that. You should be able to, as a DM, say, okay, it's 8d12 plus 20. Like that's how you roll HP for your characters, right? You roll your die and then you add it all up. You should be able to do that with monsters too, where it's like, okay, the lowest bound of my monster's HP, if I rolled a 1 on every die, would be like 40. And the highest would be like 120. If this is supposed to be a monster where your party is really struggling, they're having a tough time, in my opinion, everything should be in the interest of like the story, you know?
Yeah.
And if your party is about to like get all their resources wiped in like floor 1 of a dungeon, then maybe the monster has 50 hit points. But if this is like a boss battle and they're burning through, like critting all the time, but you want this to like be a tough battle that has stakes, maybe the monster has 100. Or like, okay, your paladin hits a crit on a divine smite and leaves the monster with 2 HP. Like, that's kind of ass. Like, just have it die.
Yeah.
On that big moment. You know what I mean? As opposed to then like, okay, we drag it out for a whole nother round and like the ranger hits it with an arrow, with like its second arrow after rolling an at 1 on the first one.
But it was the paladin's like arch nemesis. Like the monster killed like the paladin's parents.
Yeah. Like I think about Woolsey. I know you've listened to this episode of Not Another D&D Podcast where it's like the boss battle in the first campaign, and like one of the characters has this effect. Like it's the last episode, fighting like the major enemy of the whole campaign, and one of the characters has this effect where it deals like a little bit of damage every turn from like these spores that the character lets off, and that's what ends up killing the big bad in the whole campaign. It's like this chip damage that it lets off every turn, which is like kind of a lame way for a, like, it's a great podcast, but it's kind of like a lame way for the big bad enemy to die. So that's my take, is that it's okay to fudge the numbers a little bit in the interest of, it's okay to fudge the numbers a lot in the interest of the story.
A lot.
That reminded me of the TikTok clip of is it Total Party Kill, where Tanner rolled, I think it was, he rolled damage and it was so obviously
and then he was
kind of
like,
destroyed, and he like his face just says it all over. And like he could have just lied, but you were like, if it's gonna kill us all, we can just like regroup after this episode. Like you could do it with just nat 1 or something.
The screen is there for a reason. So like you got to do it with some finesse. You have to not lose the trust of your players, and it has to feel real in the moment for them. So it's more like, it's like fudging, not just like cheating.
I was just gonna say, that's the thing, is like if it fits correctly with how the story's supposed to go, then they're not really gonna catch on. Like it's only obvious if it's like the big bad and like you're like, oh, it dies after like a round of combat, you know? It has to make sense.
I'm a big fan of like do the fun thing, but I do think that I'm lean more on fudging it when I feel like characters are like flying through, like making things harder than easier, because I do kind of feel like in general in D&D, like people like could go down more, and I feel like I don't know if you all remember, but the first campaign that we did with the Hay Queen, at the end, like you all just like lost, and like I wasn't thinking that like, you know, the dragon was gonna take like Pidge in the book and everything, and it was gonna just be like that, but it was, and so it was like, while like I feel like it could have been really cool if you all like had like a heroic moment, it just did not. I don't even remember how it ended up being that bad, but it just like was a bad fight.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it like left it on a fun like spot, even though it wasn't like. So I just think like balance, of course, balance. But I think I'd lean more towards making a monster more difficult than like fudging the end.
What if that kills a player though? Like,
if it's
you
a
decide
big
to
boss
drag it
fight,
on.
I think it should.
Yeah,
If it's not, then no. So I feel like, yeah, do the fun thing, do the story
But
thing.
like if it's the book by the book's HP, they killed it, and then you added on 100 HP, and it ends up like, oops, we had a bad round of rolling, and it's a total party kill.
But then, like, if that's the big bad, then that's fine. Like, you should be okay with killing your players if the situation makes sense. Now, if like Mavros or Knack had died in this fight that was supposed to introduce the vampire spawn as like an enemy, then that would have sucked.
That would be lame.
Yeah.
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 I was about to ask, were all those nat ones like for real?
Yeah. They were real. I mean, I cocked my die and I was like, it's like barely cocked, but I'm going to roll it again. They were all nat ones. And it ended up being a sick fight. Like the whole thing of like the vampire spawn running back up and then getting shot down. And what I really liked was like the fight seemed difficult. Like it didn't end up being that close. Like y'all still had a lot of HP, but it seemed difficult enough so that y'all were debating whether or not to stay and fight.
Yeah.
And eventually you made the decision that I think fit with both of your characters, where you're like good people and like want to do what's right. You like made a principled stand and you're like, no, we have to get past this thing to like do what we need to do. So I feel like it worked out.
Yeah.
I've fudged, but not rolls. More so like, I feel like there were battles where you guys have like gotten through, like if I had multiple characters really fast, and then I just like, we're like, oh, 2 more pop up, like 2 more come out. Like I've done that before because I just feel like it's sometimes a battle just goes so fast that you want it to be like higher stakes.
Yeah.
And just roll as a DM, just roll in front of the table occasionally if you like want to earn the trust of your players back or anything like that. Just do that for big moments where it's like, oh, this might kill someone, so I'm going to roll in front of the table. So it also like that makes it more fun for everyone. It makes a bigger moment.
Yeah, I guess that's the point of like the like having a dice tower for those big rolls.
Yeah.
But I think you should trust like whoever you're playing with to like make a good story, regardless of like, I think as players you should be okay with some fudging here and there.
I agree.
This is a bit tangential, but are there like some games where the DM rolls death saves? Because I've seen a thing where it's like the don't announce death saves. What is y'all's take? Because then like it leaves it open for fudging.
You're saying,
but it's also dramatic.
You're saying so the DM rolls death saves for the monsters or
for player characters, but they don't announce them.
So the DM will roll the death saves for the players. I always thought that was kind of cool.
I think it makes sense.
I think it makes sense too.
Better role play because it's so much better. Like,
because if you're not going to go heal them until you know they're on 2 death saves, like that's not something that's real.
Well, instead you have to like use economy, like turn economy to say like I want to roll perception to see.
Yeah, true. You can make like a medicine check or a perception check to see like how close they are to death.
It's more real. It's like more realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, if we like that, we can do it. I think where my biggest fear is that one of y'all is going to die, you know?
Yeah.
And so that is like anything that makes it more likely that you're going to die is where I get nervous. And that's why a lot of y'all's fights end up being easy, is because I'm like, I always tend to try to make it less likely that you're going to die. But now that I've discovered this cheating thing,
something just came across my desk.
Something just came across my desk. It's called cheating, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I guess the important thing is not to tell your players.
Yeah, no, it all falls apart if your players know that you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now only Tanner and Corey don't know.
Yeah, true. Don't tell them. So who agrees with my take?
I'm fine. I mean, having never DM'd.
Not yet.
Not yet. I said I think it makes sense because, like, again, like I'm clearly more pro story than I think other D&D players. So yeah, I think it fits.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm pro fun.
I agree.
Whatever's fun.
Let's go. And as the person who just went, I'll pick Paris.
Good. Save the best for last.
Okay. My hot take title is Cowardly Discouragement.
Are you discouraging cowardice, or is it?
No, I am reversing heroic inspiration and saying that I think that DMs to problem players should be allowed to assign cowardly discouragement, which means that you have to next time you roll a nat 20, it has to be re-rolled.
Wow.
And if you get 2 nat 20s, sick. But it's not a nat 1, it's just you have to re-roll. Within reason, I think that obviously if like a player like is really trying their best and like not being like you don't want to do like mean things because if they made like a bad choice in combat. But if someone's being like problematic or like not like never like always on their phone or like just like interrupting everyone, like I think that's a good like you get cowardly discouragement.
Sure.
Or like I feel like when we shut down your campfire game, like we all could have gotten cowardly discouragement for that. Yeah. Because we were all like not like feeding into the like role play.
Yeah, my question was if you were talking about role play or like the player themselves, but it sounds like both.
I think anything. I think anything that's like blatantly, and maybe as the player, if you get cowardly discouragement, you should be able to call it to a vote at the table. That's another step. That's part 2.
We can't introduce voting.
Yeah, I can see that being
the DM needs the power.
DM has to be God. Like there's no other
Must
way.
be God.
I like this because there have been times where I feel it could have been applied within the campaign.
For sure.
Not naming names, but I like that because I just like it. That's my explanation.
David just likes it. I fear that I think this can't be something that is in the rule book. Because if there's a group of new players that starts playing together and somebody is on their phone because they like it's the first time they've ever played D&D and they don't know what they're doing, and the DM goes, cowardly discouragement. That person is never ever going to play again.
Yeah.
No, it has to be in jest.
Contextual.
You do have
It
to
has
wear
to
a
be in
dunce
jest.
cap as well.
But I think if it's like us, I don't know. To a certain extent, I think like a group like ours who like we've been playing together for a few years, and also we've known each other for many, many years. Like I think that it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to like discourage people from like playing how they play. But I mean like actual like this is something pretty problematic, and like we all agree that was like a weird thing to do. So like
imagine like the worst person in the world is at your table, right? And you're like, you get cowardly discouragement. Do you think they're going to be like, sorry, you're so right, I'm not going to do that again?
Yeah.
Or do you think they're going to be like, fuck that? Like
well, then they'll probably leave, which is probably if they're the worst person.
So it's that's another
certain
layer.
Group of people at like a certain point. I feel like you'll know if you can apply it or not, depending on like.
Yeah, I think it does have to be like a joke. Like it has to be funny. Like
it has to be like made lightly, because if it's anything beyond that, it needs to be like, I feel like you are like, it leads to humiliation in front of the group rather than like it's like putting like you know how you had you're a teacher and you have
the clip chart.
The clip chart.
Yeah,
it's clipping down. Yeah. You don't have it anymore, but it's clipping down in front of in front of everyone, and so it's kind of embarrassing. So I think it has to be kind of like moments where they would agree, like where they would say my bad, and it kind of be funny. But I think that D&D is so much like you have to like, it takes so much for it to be right. You have to have the right group. You have to have social skills. Like you have to be able to you have to be able to read a room. Like Woolsey, imagine, like say something kind of out of pocket, like do something that would be discouraged at a table right now. Okay, yeah, I slap David's character's ass. Woolsey, sidebar real fast. I really hate to do this, but I'm going to give you cowardly discouragement for that. Absolutely not. No, I refuse to take it. I refuse to take it. And then, like, the rest of the group is just sitting, like, it's such like a humility. So yeah, it has to be fun. Like if you're a very serious table, then. But if someone's being like sexist, then you're not gonna like. That's not the situation. That's like a different conversation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cowardly discouragement. I called David's character a slur.
want to be clear. I got on my phone as an act of doing something.
Oh, I
That was
see.
perfect.
But I think it could also be almost player led, where like if the players indicate that they don't like something another character's doing, but they continue in that vein, then the DM can step in. But it's not just like of the DM's opinion, unless it's so blatant, like more outside the game where you're not paying attention type thing. But if it's more in the gameplay, then like someone could say in character, like, oh, I don't think we should do that. Like, that's not the right thing to do. And they continue that behavior. Then the DM's like, the gods have deemed you unworthy.
That brings up kind of an interesting point of like, I think it'd be cool if players gave each other heroic inspiration. Like, obviously, like you couldn't just like spam it.
Yeah.
But like, if you were like honest about it, and like if one player to another was like, that was like a really good moment of roleplay, then you like give each other heroic inspiration. I feel like that would increase player agency a little bit.
Maybe we could text the DM that we're like, hey, we think this person deserves heroic
That's like
inspiration.
what my kids do in class. They always want to like give each other like rewards. They're like, this person just picked up my pencil. I really think you should give them a smiley. I'm like,
Yeah. I remember in
very cute.
4th grade, we had like the chain thing. Like we would, and so it would be like, oh, if you did something good, you'd go tell the teacher, oh, this person did. And then by the end of the year, like the class with the most chains like won something. So it'd be like, I would knock a pencil off my desk so that somebody could pick it up so that I could go tell the teacher this person picked up my pencil.
I still do that all the time.
Metagaming. Were y'all in Upward?
What is that?
It was like the Christian basketball league there was one in I played in one, and it was like elementary school level, like kind of learning basketball. Everyone would get a sticker. Everyone on the team would get a sticker at the end of the game, and the stickers meant different things. And I always got the Christ-like sticker, which was the white one, because other ones were like best passer, best defender.
You got Christ-like?
And I got Christ-like every single time because I wasn't good at basketball.
You don't know what the Pinewood Derby is?
Yeah.
Boy Scouts. It's like, or this was Cub Scouts.
Little roller cars, right?
Little roller cars that you would build your own car, and you would put it on a track, and it would go down, and like it was a race. I always won most creative.
Nice.
I was always so slow, but I would do like shark. I would make like horribly unaerodynamic choices, like shark car, and it had a big shark fin on it, or I would like put a bunch of fur on one and call it wolf car. And one time I did forest car, where I glued a bunch of moss and trees onto it.
Oh my God.
So slow.
Hey, I could never.
No, I could literally. But I personally, I like the concept of cowardly discouragement. I just think that it should be wielded with caution.
Carefully.
Caution.
I disagree.
We could
I think
also
it's too
change the name.
problematic.
The name might be a little aggressive.
No, the name is the best part.
And maybe it's not as harsh as like stealing a D20, because that's like such a cool moment. Maybe it's like they're automatically last on initiative next time or something like that.
Sure.
But because it would suck
Tailor it
if
to
you
your
like,
table.
especially if you were in like a really bad slump of rolls and you finally hit your D20, but oh shit, you have cowardly discouragement.
So
would
funny,
crash out.
Yeah, like you have cowardly discouragement from like being on your phone in the first session.
Yeah, you never hit a nat 20.
5 sessions
You think you
later.
killed a big bad? It's no.
Yeah, no.
But I
Remember,
will say,
like 5 months ago, you got cowardly discouragement.
Like I've had disadvantage had for a long time because of the affliction. And I do feel like, and there's been like, I think 2 times that I've rolled, or maybe once a nat 20 and once another high roll that I had to re-roll. And like, it feels like good in a way to like, be like, oh yeah, but like this is part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I know this would not be part of the story, but it is like in D&D, I think it's so important to make sure players feel consequences for their actions.
Yeah.
So like it is another way to like positive reinforcement is important and should be used most of the time. But sometimes like negative reinforcement is important too.
You need the squirt bottle. I mean, like it's like karma. Like when Gradient dove in front of Nack's bullet to save an enemy as a joke, like he should feel negative karma for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down the line.
Funny.
I think it's too hard to implement. I think it's too jokey but you would only use it in situations that weren't really jokey. Like it's just too It's too tricky.
This is great discourse.
It's just good
This
discourse.
is a hot
We
take.
can't just agree with everything.
Is that why
I disagree with that.
Paris, who are you going to choose to give their take next?
Cooper F.
David.
David, tell us what Woolsey's take is.
What's my
I
take?
yield my time to the gentleman from Upward Basketball Camp.
The most Christ-like
The
basketball player of all time.
Man.
It's like I go in like an Ohio State player with like all the like stickers all
I
over
want
my helmet.
to flip the paradigm. They called Michael Jordan Black Jesus, and so you getting the Christ-like award, you're Jesus.
Yeah. As-
That was a good joke.
I'm white
David.
Jesus. I think I only have a headline, which is how I ingest news anyways.
Oh, nice.
D&D is perfect. Players are the problem.
Wow.
The only solve is chaotic or is cowardly discouragement.
Yeah. Our takes pair very well together.
I tried so hard to come up with a take today, and every single time the issue that I ran into was, well, you could just do this. You
Yeah.
could just homebrew this. It's so malleable. It's so, I guess I think that combat takes too long. Well, the players just need to play faster. All these things like, or the DM just needs to make judgments quicker and not get out the rule book, things like that. If everyone is playing to the way that it's designed to be played, then it's the greatest game in the world because it's so malleable. It's more of an art form rather than a game.
But are you considering homebrew like D&D as the game? Because homebrew is really whatever you want it to be. You could say my homebrew campaign has no D20s.
Yeah.
You know, like in that, like if D&D is like, if you're talking about the books and like their designed stories and campaigns, are you saying that's perfect, or do you think like the idea of D&D is perfect?
Rules as written
Like the player's
in the
handbook.
book has verbiage that says, or just do what you think is right. It has verbiage like that. So I think that it kind of,
But then that's you writing it, not D&D writing it.
and that's why it's perfect.
Well, I feel like it's kind of a hack, though, to just be like the most open-ended game of all time. And then be like, if you're not having fun, then you're not playing it right. I agree with you mostly, but I think that your argument falls apart on homebrew. Because then it's like, all right, Candyland is the perfect game if you change this about it. You know?
I've had a lot of fun in Catan lately role playing.
That's great.
A nightmare. It's been a nightmare.
I'm Fort Red and
He has a country accent.
yeah, I lose every time.
It's tearing our marriage apart.
Because you're doing story focused Catan, like what
Yeah.
my character
Yeah.
would
Oh
do.
my God.
I would chase the longest road and do nothing else. Okay, so let's put homebrew aside. Every problem in D&D is still the player's fault. Like every problem that you would run into, which most commonly is being too slow, or scheduling's the biggest thing that gets people, or
Hence D&D Ragebait episode 4.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Are you including the DM when you say player's fault? Like, are you saying like,
Yes,
or are you
because
just saying the players?
I
Just
think even
participants.
more so, it's
Participants.
like your campaign is really only as good as 60% your DM, 40% your players, maybe.
That's what I would say
Like-
for like overall campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, like the players, it's still significant, but they need something to do.
I would almost say 55-45.
Yeah,
Like if the players aren't pulling their weight, then it's ass.
yeah, for sure. But then you can completely, like the players can completely do not what the DM is intending them to do, and it'd be a great session because the DM is a good improviser or things like that too. But I think that because the game it hinges on improvisation and rules as written, it's an open world, so it's whatever, it's all about whatever the best story is. So then if you are not having fun, then you aren't writing a good story, and that's kind of the end of the sentence. Like,
I agree, and I think it also applies to a lot of D&D adjacent games, like RPG games, like a Skyrim, or like especially in No Man's Sky, where players think they have like the perfect game in their head, and so they'll tell like the devs exactly what they want, and the devs will deliver exactly what they want, and they hate it because they don't actually want to do all the things that are in their head that are like the perfect game. So then they complain. So I agree with your take. I think it's very easy to think the perfect game and like how exactly you would do it, but you don't actually want to like contribute to it.
Yeah.
So
I tend to disagree with people when they call D&D a game. I think it's a system. I think it's like a framework, and the game is like the story or campaign that the DM comes up with. Like the DM makes the game, they just use a system.
It's like it's mostly combat and then a lot of like in terms of the system, and then just a lot of like random things like economy.
But do you feel like there are like, I mean, people swear, I don't know, because I also don't know about like different editions of D&D, and like, but some people are like really into like the more recent versions of D&D, and some people swear by older versions. And then there are like, I mean, there are some classes that it's kind of like, oh, this is a little broken, don't you think? Or like, oh, this is overpowered. Would you consider that perfect? Or like, because if then the responsibility falls on the DM or the player to balance, then like, is that technically like perfect? I guess what is like perfect?
Because you're telling a story, you should know your own role, and you are not supposed to be it's not supposed to be easy, or like you're not supposed to be able to one-shot the enemies or things like that. Like everyone has a different role, and like really like you could be a cleric and your role could just be healing people. So when people are concerned with balance, like some people just might do more damage and some people might just do different things. As long as you tie it to the story in a satisfying way, I guess
then it's the player's fault. Like you have to pick the class that suits the kind of game you want to play. But then it shouldn't be like, if you want to be like, well, then you can multi-class. I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that point ties back excellently to my earlier take, which caused much discourse about, which I now learned is called min-maxing, not meta building, where like, yeah, it exists, but it is not a positive aspect of the game. And like, you may think it's fun, but then you actually apply it, and it's the player's fault because it takes away from what it's supposed to be.
But that also goes to like some people, part of my take, like some people want a min-maxed game. And if you have a table of people who are like, I want to play a video game where like we just try to beat all the hardest monsters, then I feel like that means D&D is a perfect game because it has something for everyone. You just have to be in the right situation with the right people who have the similar goal of like.
So it's a perfect system because it allows for it. It depends on the game you're playing, how the system's applied and utilized.
It might be a perfect system.
You don't even have to have everyone on the table agree that that's what you want to do. That character, you could give them you could give them a Vorpal sword, and then they're happy because they get a +3 to attack, and so they feel like, and then you just make the monsters a little bit harder, but they do more damage.
I just don't know if I played a D&D provided campaign as written by the book, no homebrew elements, like exactly, because we tried that, and like going straight to like turn the page to here and now you're here, turn the page back to here and now this is what happened. Strictly by the book, without coming up with your own like improv situations. I just don't think that would be a perfect game. I think there has to be flexibility in homebrew.
Yeah, I don't even know if David knows that like most people start with the
pre-written games.
And you shouldn't. And
you shouldn't. It's terrible.
So bad.
It's not fun.
But that is that.
But is that D&D?
Is that D&D or is that just a story? Like
That's the tutorial. That's the tutorial.
But then but we're talking about like D&D, like the company, what they have made. That's what they have made. And really it's us who are making it more.
Or are those expansions?
But it's our expansions. It's not their expansions. Like we are creating those things that make it what we enjoy and what we love and how we like to play. Like we are writing those things. They have not like given us these things.
They should pay us.
They didn't. Yeah, exactly. We need to get paid.
It's all homebrew.
They didn't give us Cooper. There's no Cooper F creature in any manual anywhere. But like, or Ratatouille. But like, think about like how like rich and how much like joy those characters have added to our story. And like, take them out, and it's like, okay, what's like, you lose a pretty like important part of like the personality of our group. And so it's kind of like that would not exist without what like we have made our campaign, not what they have told us is a part of it or to be included.
So we play it perfectly, and everyone else exists somewhere on the wrong
They
spectrum.
wish that they could have a Cooper F in their game.
We found the
everyone
recipe.
really wants a Cooper F.
We found the perfect recipe.
Ragebait 4, nobody else plays D&D, right?
Yeah, that's the
we
new
play
headline.
D&D right. Everyone else plays it wrong.
So yeah, D&D isn't a system player. It is the system.
It's not a system, man.
Player, it's the system
player. I mean,
It's gotten so incredibly dark behind you.
I know. The sun is set. Can you restate your take, Woolsey, and then I'll be able to agree or disagree with it.
D&D is a perfect game. The only problems come from players, and players includes DMs.
This might be so specific, but I disagree because I think it's a perfect system.
So you're just saying D&D is not a game.
No, it's a system. I strongly
Yeah.
believe that.
I think I 49% agree, but like Cameron convinced me that like D&D is more like framework system, and then so it's kind of semantic. But I'd say like because it's semantic, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree. I'm like right on the fence. I am the fence.
But
If Paris agrees, I'll pick a side.
Shit.
I think where other systems fail, and I don't know a lot about them, like Pathfinder, things like that, is that they get too in the weeds and it's too combat focused. The ideas for a lot of those systems is more realism. I think D&D is really good at, with the right table, with the right players, it's more about the story, and there's a lot more leniency, and rule is cool and all that.
With that, I think, because I think
Rule
about
of
when
cool.
you said Pathfinder about people and what they enjoy. I think that D&D, you could say D&D is the perfect game for us.
For elites.
No.
For the best.
For the
Only the
for
best of the best
people-
should play D&D.
for,
Okay.
for the people who want to add to the world and want to write and want to like be creative in the space. I think it's the perfect game. But without the people, like I feel like where you are almost saying the people are the problem, I think without the people, it's not the perfect game.
D&D is the Garden of Eden. And the apple is min-maxing.
Yeah.
Yes!
I agree with that.
I'm going to say I do agree, but I also agree with Cameron's take that it is maybe more of a system.
Yeah.
I have to disagree.
And look at me on my own, on the agree side.
Oh, you fell to the agree side.
I didn't fall, I stepped into it.
The fence shifted.
I didn't move.
Yeah.
The fence kept
He stayed
going
in the
further
center.
and further left.
Yeah.
I stepped back, a la James Harden.
So we've all given our takes. And should we do hottest take?
Ooh.
We did that last time. So I'll restate our takes, starting with David.
Less combat, more puzzles.
My take is that it's okay for DMs to cheat.
Cowardly discouragement.
Really discouragement, and we'll see.
D&D is a perfect game. The players are the problem.
All right, everyone, have in your mind who you are going to vote for. We'll start with Woolsey. Say a name, then Paris will say a name, then I'll say a name, then David will say a name, all in rapid succession. 3, 2, 1.
Paris.
Austin.
Paris.
Austin.
A tie!
I was
Tie.
close. I was close to saying Paris. I'll just take the title then.
Yeah, David wins.
Yeah, David wins. Just like a roleplay royale.
Yeah. It always defaults to David.
Keeps the
Thanks
belt.
everyone for listening. We'll be back, hopefully, with main campaign next time. Just chew on these takes for a little while. Oh no, we will be back with main campaign next time, actually. Episode 30 comes after this.
Perfect.
Bye.
So long.
Ciao.
Bye, Caleb.